What's going on, team? How we doing out there? Let's go ahead. Let's start taking a look into the market. You guys are at Start Swing Trading. We need to go ahead and take a look into this market. Seems like we got hit today to the downside there. We're now down to 393s, almost back into the 390s. This is big, big, big. And of course, I protected myself. We'll talk all about the swing trades. Was able to take some profits, was able to break even on some of these. But I had a feeling today that we would get this downside turn. We were focusing on the banks and pre-market prep. I hope you guys caught pre-market prep this morning. We were all over that coverage. Got to give a shout out to my man, Dennis Dick. Definitely killed it. Was focusing on the banks today, and we were able to nail one also that we'll talk a little bit about on a new trade here, right here on Start Swing Trading. Let's take a look at the SPY, and we can see we're now down there towards 392.97. Will we get to the crack and then go back through the 390s? As we're pulling back, we're really close to this channel. And as we crack that channel, that's when it really becomes a concern. That's around the 389 spot. If we crack around 389, it's not going to be looking good here, team. As we get back here into the 380s, we'll see what happens there. But what happened today? It was looking really great this morning, and really quickly things turned around. And what was leaking at the very beginning? It was financial services, of course. But let's get into some of the trades that I got break even stopped out today. Let's talk a little bit about those trades and what new ones do we have on the day. But definitely want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. How we doing out there? Hope you guys appreciate Start Swing Trading. This is a swing trading show where we talk about swing trading setups. We might even take some new ones here. And I got a really good one, team, that I've already taken some profits in the intraday, but going to keep riding this one. And boy, is it a good winner right now. We're looking great in this one. We'll talk all about it. Smash the like. If you guys got a good play today, throw it up in the chat. Quantum, what's going on out there? Jay, Hammer, Talib, how we doing? Easy, Walter, Carmen. It's good to see you guys in the chat. Definitely smash the like. All right, let's get into it. First one we're going to talk about is one that I took some profits in, which was ASO, of course. We had this one, Academy Sports here from below here in the 60.48s. We were looking for the push into the 62 handle to take some profit. Was able to take some profit into the 61.90s today, and then was looking to kind of hold this for the rest of the move. But when I saw the stocks kind of turning around, I took the profits and ran with it. So let me go ahead and give you guys that outlook here. Last profits were taken at 61.49. So took the money and run on this trade. It was a smaller close on ASO for the green, but I took the money and run. We'll see what happens on this one. It still doesn't look too bad overall on the daily. This one is trying to push a little higher, but I just didn't feel like keeping in this one. And let's just take a look at DKS. DKS is one that we were trading this one with. As you're seeing it close, this one almost even looks like one that we could reverse. We can take ASO long, and now I could take Dick short, coming right back to the 135 range. But I'm not going to go too crazy today. I'm going to take it easy. Let's talk about some other trades that I get in out of. This one was an interesting one. X. What I did was I was up pretty good in the morning. This got to 30s. Of course, we got this one at 29.18s. And as this one was coming down here and we bounced below towards kind of the 29 spot right here, I added actually to the name and held slightly below towards 29.09s. I was going to look to see if we were going to get a bounce from right about here back towards the 30s, but instead we got a cut through. So as we cut through this 29 spot, I went and cut that trade off right here as we came down. So small little hit there. Just to be relative terms, it was so small. Like I don't even think I don't consider that a loss. It's kind of like a scratch trade there on X. So not mad about scratching out on X. I'll get out of that one. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. American Airlines was not able to take the profits, the extra profits that we were looking at this one. And it looks like there was news today about now they're having a union strike. So this one got hit hard with that. I stopped out of this one for a gainer of 610. We got in this one from 586. We were able to take some profits yesterday, so we got 4% on the name. I just couldn't get 6% on the name, which would have been the second target today. And we got close, team. We got the 1680s. I was looking for 1685s. Maybe a little bit too picky there for the 6%, but that's how it is sometimes when things turn around. All right, but not too bad. Nice little profit there on American Airlines. 4% gainer. Can't be mad about that. All right, what's another one that we were talking about? Let's get an update here on SFM. FSM was one that I took yesterday, swing trading it off the 33s. So you guys can see we're already up there. We got there towards 33.93s. I still haven't taken first profits. I'm looking for a nice little push through 34s, working its way to 35. Once I get to 34, I'm going to take some profits and then look for the push towards 35 on Sprouts Farm. And of course, this one I'm actually pushing with Kroger. So Kroger's actually red today. So I don't want to see this one really just collapse. We'll see if Sprouts Farms can take that next step up and get to the 34s. I am up on this position about 1.97%, but still not enough for me to take some of the profits. All right, let's keep going. Stay focused, saying thank you, Mitch, for SIVB. And yes, it wasn't myself. I would thank Dennis, really. The only thing that I was looking at this morning was the relationships off the situation. So this morning, we were calling out some of the regional banks, and we'll take a look into that regional story coming up on what was hot and what was not. But I do want to talk about my new position that I'm in, team. I took a big bank short side. We were actually looking at this yesterday. So shout out to my man, of course, Scott from Beat the Bench. You guys were here yesterday. He was calling out regional banks even before this SIVB situation. So shout out to him. Definitely yesterday, Beat the Bench, killed it. Got to give him a good shout out. Let's take a look here at the trade that I took today. And I took it on live trading. Morgan Stanley, baby. We got short Morgan Stanley. I talked about this setup on PreMarket Prep. So if you guys were watching PreMarket Prep, you guys probably heard me say, hey, well, why not the down gap fill on Morgan Stanley down towards here, towards the 9170s as we started cracking. This one wanted to get through 100, but as the bank started getting weak, I looked for this one for a short opportunity. Got in this one at 95.34 right here when we rejected this 95.50s. And look at that. That's what we call a nice little winner there. Up on the name about 3%. Already took some profits. Took some profits at 93.53. So that was right over here, team. And I mean, I can't blame myself for taking some profits in the day. If I could get a nice kind of 2% winner, 3% winner in just a couple, maybe an hour or two, that's not too bad for a swing trade. But definitely Morgan Stanley looks like it continues to fall. Will it fill the gap here on the downside as we get closer towards that 91.75? I'll just take the gap fill trade. I could look for this to continue to break down, but I'm just looking for the gap to fill, and then I could reload on any bounces in the banks. We'll see what happens. Other one that I was looking at, I talked about this yesterday, was JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan broke the 140s, but would we get any type of bounce? Look at that takedown in JP Morgan today. Goldman Sachs was another tricky one today because it was actually going up. And I was looking for one more drive to get short on this one, and it just couldn't get to the levels where I wanted it. I wanted to get short it closer towards 358, 357s. It didn't even get to 355 today, but now starting to take down there in Goldman Sachs. So be careful. Bank of America was one that we saw weak this morning. Look at that chart. What a breakdown there. Talked about that also on PreMarket Prep. So definitely, team, one thing that I would mention is Benzinga has so many shows for you guys, right? We have PreMarket Prep that looks at the pre-market outlook before the bell. A lot of times we're really on point. I'm not saying that to kind of toot our horns, but it really is all about just trying to stay with the trends that are happening. Like always, these aren't financial advice, but informational purposes. And if you can go ahead and take a look at this, I always go ahead and look at relationships that we can trade off of it. We also have live trading where we talk a little bit more into the intraday. And a lot of times I'm able to take some of these swing trades on that show to kind of show you guys, right, the approach and how I approached it even in a live trading manner, and then went into it. A lot of times when I come in here and swing trading, sometimes we can take some trades. Sometimes we're just going to hold on to the ones that we have right now. Just looking for Morgan Stanley to continue lower. And look at that. Boom. As we speak, we hit another leg down there through the 93s towards the 92.40s. Will we close this gap today? Who knows? I might close this trade today. We'll see what happens. Morgan Stanley, killer move here. And we'll find out if we continue to get the takedown. All right, let's go into what was hot and what was not. Definitely SIVB getting waxed. That's for sure. SIVB, look at that. Now down to 108. So big hit there. And it continued through the open. It wasn't like this was nothing that was being ignored. 48% move down. What a move. And I know there was someone out there this morning that was actually calling for a 105 bounce, or 105 area seemed to make sense on SIVB. I'm not going to take that shot because it's just too much of a call for me to like bet down here. But hey, it is catching somewhere near that. It went down there towards around 103s and 100 on the dot. We'll look to see if this turns around. Another one that we can talk about, and let's just get to it. Well, let's get to the financial services. You guys can see how much this got hit today. This is a 5-minute chart, but look at this morning. This is from this morning, 9:35, all the way down. This is the sector outlook. It's about 3% for me. And then look at the regional banks. Look how that did. Definitely, that just got destroyed, right? All right, let me just pull this up here. Where's regional? There it is. There's regionals. You guys can see here, they got hit hard here out the gates, continued on the downside. This is why I like paying attention to industries, right? Because we could have gone after so many of these today, and it was all about just paying attention to the industry call outs so that you can nail trades like this, right? Well, let's talk a little bit about those. Of course, SIVB taking a big hit. PACW, another big hit on this one. Pac West Corp really took a big beating here, team. So I'm going to run through some of these names, and you guys can do the same. Always work backwards. Financial services to regional banks. Now I'm working through the biggest hit banks here. SIVP, of course, Wall, Western, Zion, we've mentioned on pre-market prep this morning. 11% down on the day, 10.08 from the open, mentioned this morning on pre-market prep. Yeah, and Tim Melvin liked it at 150. Oh, I thought he liked it at 105. My bad, Francis. Maybe I got that one wrong. But definitely look at AX taking a big hit today. I gave some of these that I was mentioning this morning. So I don't know if you guys caught this morning some of these that I was looking at. So I'll go ahead and I'll give you those that we were talking about. And of course, you guys can keep up with everything that we were talking about this morning. You guys check out that episode of Pre-Market Prep. But I called out these banks. PNC. Ooh, look at that. We were talking about it right where you see that circle. So right there, not a bad little move on the day. This one's down there about 4.3% from the open. Let's keep going through the list. It was a good one. Hope you guys were checking that out this morning. TFC. Look at this one. Another takedown. This one was about 4.6%. Then MTB. MTB, a nice little move there, down about 4.77% overall. The biggest move in the day, and now it's about 4.2. Not a bad one there. FITB, Fifth Third Bancorp, and continuing lower. Not a bad move there, about 5% on this one. And then RF, Region Financial. This was the last one. and not a bad little move there, about 3.8%. We'll see what happens on these regional banks. And will the global banks play catch up was one of my questions this morning. We found out really quickly, yeah, they would play catch up. Bank of America down big today. Wells Fargo or Wells Fargo, we talked about it. Would it come down? Bam, big hit there, team. Citi also breaking. We're going to look for this one to pull back towards 50 tomorrow, but definitely big hits on these big banks, team. We'll see what happens. Another one that I wanted to try to attack, I didn't get to it, but Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank going to go right back down there. Oh, I was looking at this one at least to maybe fill in this gap here towards 1150. And then there's another gap there towards kind of like 1057. Didn't look too bad as it starts to break down here from the 12. What are you doing with your life if you ain't watching pre-market prep at 8:30? I mean, let's just be honest. We were all over it this morning, and that was a massive opportunity. I hope someone out there was able to profit. All right, let's keep taking a look. Oh, my God, and Morgan Stanley continuing, team. We might be able to fill this gap right now. Whew. We're going to fill it up. Let's see here, team. Now down to 91.98. This fill is on a high of 91.98. The body closed towards 91.60s. So let's see if we can get a little bit into the 60s. And I'm just going to take a lot of this off. You know what? This is one of those moves that, like, you know, I got no problem taking majority of it off and then just leaving a little bit of a runner here. Let's go ahead. Let's cash it, baby. Boom, baby. Just took a little bit more on Morgan Stanley there. Just as we're talking about it, another little move here, another point down. That's not a bad little 1.4% there. Woo. I'll take it, team. I'll take it. When did I get there? I got 91.88 on that piece. Got a little bit of a runner left. Small piece now. I'm just going to let it run. Now, if it closes the gap a little bit further, I won't be mad that I didn't take any more profits, right? It can just go ahead and continue to go. Not a bad trade here on Morgan Stanley. This is not even this is just in the intraday action. It's kind of a day trade until I swing it overnight. I mean, I wanted it to be a swing trade, but hey, money's money. And when they pay, I don't mind taking that money and running a little bit with it. Money! Let's go. Not a bad one there today. Let's keep looking. Let's take a look at what else is going on. And of course, you guys want to take a look at some names, throw them up in the chat. I do see someone taking a look at silver and gold. I'm not really into silver and gold, but if you want to take a look at something else, RK, maybe I could take a look at like GOLD. I can't tell you how to trade it, but I can tell you at least GOLD showing some bottoming action there in some gold names. I've been keeping up with GOLD to see if it was going to hold 16, and you can see how that broke down. So I don't know about gold right now, but if the market's going to keep coming down, you'll probably see that DXY kind of get that next move up. So if you see the dollar making that move, potentially you could see gold and silver get another lift again. I'm not touching those right now, though. It's not really the hot names, but hey, if you have another ticker, I can definitely take a look. FAZ, of course, FAZ is kind of the bear day trade, right? I was looking at this today earlier, but was looking for it to kind of, since I was already looking to short Morgan Stanley, I didn't want to double and triple dip into this, but this little pullback here to the VWAP, oh, that was very, very good for the taking right there. Right on the VWAP, pulled back to 1872. VWAP was 1871 and 1872, pulled back to 68s on that pullback. Not a bad little move, right back up. So I will be looking for pullbacks on FAZ to kind of get another attempt into this one. But you can see we're really starting to push. Now we're getting towards some kind of resistance. Will we break out of this? And we did break it through kind of the 20. So around like 1975 is kind of levels that I'll be looking for pullbacks, but this has already been a complete monster. I don't swing trade FAZ. I don't swing trade anything that's leveraged because of the rebalancing that sometimes happens nightly on a name like this. But I understand if you were like holding it from down there at the 1850s and you want to take your money and see what happens overnight. Hey, to each his own. I'm just not doing it. Already long silver and gold, says PJ Shannon. Hey, some of them like them out there. Quantum, a little bit of some Tesla short life. TSLQ. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely reversal style action. Nice little cupping pattern, right? You can see the cupping pattern. I'll draw a circle on that bottom levels here so that you can kind of see where we're looking at. So that's that bottoming pattern, right? Little saucer bottom. I'd be looking for some pullback, right? Because if you can get pullback maybe towards like 50 or slightly below 50s, then I take off to 60s. That won't look too bad, like a little bit of a cup and handle down here. So we got the cup. Let's see if we get the handle. Sarky. All right, we were looking for this move back above the 43s to start taking a look at SARK. We've already gotten the move above 43s, so this is what we're going to do on SARK. We're going to look for pullbacks to go ahead and take a shot on SARK, but that's going to be below 43.50s. If we can get a takedown below 43.50s, a little pullback tomorrow, I'll be looking to get into SARK below 43.50s for a swing to the upside. I like the levels really because now you're really starting to get a little bit of a fake out to the upside on ARK and instead getting a takedown. Look at Unity. This tells us a lot, right? How these growth names trade is going to tell us a lot. You can see it in Unity. Look at Snow heading right back down, right? Roblox had a good opening tick, had a good opening push, and then look at the takedown there. Be careful on some of these names. And if Tesla goes down, you know how Kathy goes. So ARKK could be some downside action continuing in a name like this. All right, let's keep going. What other ones are being brought into the chat? PSLV. Some Silver Trust. Not too bad. I don't really trade these too much, but hey, at least they don't look too bad on the charts. I like the monthlies at least holding the support around 1350s. If that could hold, you won't be looking too bad. Just need to get back through 15 on like this gold trust. JPM, more upside. Possible move to the upside tomorrow. Yes, you could get a bounce in these names, but I don't catch falling knives often, Brian. So I understand why you could think that maybe these could reverse because they're extremely oversold. And let's take a look how oversold they are, right? Take a look at the daily here on JPM. I always draw extremes, right? And I talk about this all often for RSI. I only really care about when it's at extreme moments. So upside, downside. Upside seems like it's going to be 88. Downside is going to be closer towards 14 on the RSI. So JPM can get oversold pretty significant. Right now, it's at about 28.47. Look tomorrow to see if we cut through 14 and going back towards the 200-day. I would first see the 200-day coming into play, which is a pullback towards 125.23. But we'll find out what happens there for bounces. I know BAC definitely cutting through. We'll see what happens there if we get some bounce back. Gap. I would not want to return. I would not want to report earnings today. Does Gap have earnings today? That might be a short opportunity for me. Let's take a look here. I need my trusty Benzinga Pro, of course. Just give me a second to pull up my Benzinga Pro. Want to go ahead and take a look here. I know I had it in another window, but I'll take a look here when GPS reports. If you guys know in the chat, you guys can throw it up there. GPS, gap. Today, yes, after the bell. Ooh, this looks tempting. Let's take a little short. All right, let's take a smaller trade here. I mean, gap isn't that big. Maybe the move back down there towards kind of like $10. I don't know the expected move. I could see it going back towards 11. If I did take this trade, it would be with a smaller share size here. Don't want to put too much into it, but I'll take the trade here. It's an earnings play on a day like today. I've been trying my best not to play earnings play, but I do like it. I'm gonna stay off of it. I haven't taken the trade. You almost got me there. But GPS earnings tonight, I don't like it. I don't like anything that's reporting tonight. I mean, reporting tonight is not a good day to have your earnings come out. And for that being the mention, there's another one that's going to have earnings tonight that could get hit too. You got Docu. Docu is going to be reporting earnings. This one looks a little bit more like my type of one that I could short into. You could see here you were trying to hold this kind of support around the 64s. It's already gotten hit a little bit, so I'm going to look for a little bit of a bounce back. If we can get the smallest bounce back to around 64.50s, I don't mind the Docu. We'll see what happens there. Let's go to Ulta Beauty. Ulta Beauty also going to be reporting earnings today. This is the one that I think could actually go up on a day like today. But hey, I'm not going to get in the way of Ulta Beauty. This has been an absolute monster stock. Probably one of the best run stocks on Wall Street, if not the best run on Wall Street. We were looking for this to get a nice December run and Santa Claus rally. And that was right here when you got this pullback. This was a great opportunity. It's made a huge run from there, about 450 to 522s, got up to as high as 537. That was a 17% move. I could see it pulling back, maybe back towards 500 and catching a bounce, but we'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going, team. Let's take a look there. Sprouts Farms, where we at? This is a swing that we have on. I'm looking for the 34, so I'm looking to see if we can get another little push here. Hut Mining. Ooh, not looking good there for Hut. I remember when I was shorting this in the freaking 14s. Should have kept this. Oof, what a move. All right, tonight, last one that I'll mention there. There's nothing else that's really big. There's some other names, but those are the big names for tonight. All right, let's keep going. Let's catch up with the chat. What are you guys talking about out there? AJ's talking about Holly Auto Parts. Not the worst. Starting to get a nice little uplift. At least Auto Parts isn't the worst place to be in right now. I'll tell you that. I'm getting killed picking false bottoms. Well, Jeff Ross, one of the things is this market, you never know what is truly support and what's not. Today was one of those days that I was just being a little flexible and was able to cut some of my trades early, but it's not an easy market. Let's just be honest. I like Kellogg's buying now for early May earnings. I do like Kellogg's, but it is pulling back. Everything was taking a hit today. And look at this Kellogg's pullback. I don't mind it. I was looking to Quantum earlier. I was even looking at GIS because it's like holding this pullback. I was like, man, should I go for some General Mills, some Procter and Gamble, some Clorox? But I think it's going to take a little while because if the overall market is just going to get a takedown, well, they might take these consumer discretionary names also with it. The consumer staples. We'll see what happens to those. All right, let's keep going. GPS 1.28. Jay, that seems interesting. Ulta tonight, barely down. Yeah, that could be a good one. I think we're all kind of looking at that one. What a shakeout. Perfect example why never buy weeklies. What do you mean by that, SRT8? Expand a little bit on that. I kind of like weeklies, but hey, I would like to know what you're looking at. Sometimes I can learn from you too, man. All right, BTC jumped a little bit. I'm not touching that. X, I got killed on today. At least was able to stop out for a gain. But man, if that would have gone back through 30s, 31s, it would have been looking really good. It's a quick turnaround there, so just be careful as you're seeing Nucor even turn around. I would be careful with a lot of names. They could have been looking really good and all of a sudden start looking really bad. XOM starting to come back towards the red. And so this is where I got to start taking my stand here on oil if we're going to get the oil takedown or not. So I'm going to actually start getting short on some oil names. I know a lot of people wouldn't, but I think if we can get some overnight takedown action and continue on the downside, why not start seeing these names start to give it up? Oxy is another one that I think could start coming back down, even though Warren bought. We could start seeing it take a hit. Chevron started coming back. This one's been trying to hang on, even did a nice buyback, but can't hold on there. Or I could just go XLE if I wanted to, right? I could go XLE to see if that's going to crack through the 84s, going to the 80s. I want to start getting some shorts, some oil names. Don't know if I'm going to do it right now. Let's see if we get a nice little drive here towards the last kind of 15 minutes, and then I can maybe take some more shots. All right. Imbalances, 360 million to sell. We'll see what happens with those. I like to buy at least 40 days out and sell before 30 days of expiration, just because that's when theta and gamma go nuts and burn you out in a sideways market. Like the outlook there, SRT8. And if that's how you're going at it, go for it, my friend. I'll just tell you one thing. When you're starting to talk about theta, gamma, and all the Greeks out there, that's when I just slowly go away and I go looking at my charts. That's just what I do, man. I'm a common stock trader. You guys trade those options, power to you, right? I think that's what's very important. Find what works best for you, and we'll see what happens. Do you think GE will have a follow-through day? Well, I mean, GE's had a follow-through year already, but look at that big push there in GE today. This is why I haven't wanted to get in front of GE. And there's some people that have been talking about how this trade should have already turned around. I probably was one of those too. I made money on a short on GE and also got stopped out on a GE short. I was actually looking to long Honeywell today, but I didn't get it just because the market was just getting such smacked on the downside. So with that GE run, I do like GE. But overall, if the market's going to keep coming down, it's very hard to buy right now. I'd like Honeywell, though, on this pullback for it to come back to 200. But to tell you the truth, I'm going to wait till tomorrow till we actually start seeing some reversal from this trend on 4 straight down days here for Honeywell. All right, from a swing trading perspective, should we look at loading on to blue chips? Well, I mean, blue chips are a little bit difficult, right? It depends which one you're looking at. I don't like to just look at them at overall, just like, oh, should I just go long all blue chips? No, you have to make sure you're getting into the right charts. Like Tesla right now is part of leadership and blue chip, but that's coming down fast, right? Like that doesn't look good. Apple looked good here. It looked like it was about to break through 156 today and give you that 160 upside. Now you got what? Topping patterns here, team. I talk about this all the time. 1, 2, 3 attempts to break through the 155. Today, what do? You get right back up there, trying to get through the trend line, and you wick there. That's not a good outlook. We could be right back towards 145 on Apple. So if there's anything that I'm starting to look at, it's potentially maybe even some short continuation. Are we just going to keep going straight down? No, I don't think so. But who knows where we open tomorrow? We could open below this kind of channel. And technical traders will definitely be watching this channel as we get below, like into the 388s and 386. Trust me, you'll be hearing them talk about it. Apple longish 150. We'll see. It's a tough trade. That's for sure. At Mitch, I was wondering why you don't talk as much in the morning. You do a lot for the day. Hey, well, I mean, it's just how it is, right? I mean, I let a lot of pre-market prep be ran by Dennis and Joel, right? I try to add some value whenever I can, different trades, different ideas. But at the end of the day, that's their show. And then, of course, I have different shows that go on, live trading, and then this show where I can just talk and talk and talk. And I'm by myself here, literally just listening to myself talk. So sometimes I can talk too much, team. You guys let me know. I'll keep going. Let's take a look at what else is going on. Delta has to be Delta has to be $60 to $70 per dollar move for me to like it. Like it. At least you have your levels, SRT8, which is very important. Have those levels. Stick to what you know. Mitch isn't an option trader, and that's okay. Yeah, it's just how it is, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you like options and they work for you, go for it, guys. I can just tell you right now, when I traded options, and I used to watch like, let's say like Tasty Works and Tasty Trader, and I used to watch like all different types of options education. I even took a derivatives class in college, right? Like a far advanced where I learned how a pricing model for options work, right? But I'll tell you the truth, it just was too much for me. It didn't felt like I was going to have much edge there. So I enjoy more in my common stock life. You guys choose what you like. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other ones out there. What are you guys talking about? Catching up with it. All right, let's go to the SPY. Let's start seeing what's getting hit hard here for the day and continuing the downside. We are getting a little bit of a bounce. So with this bounce, we got to kind of look for some opportunities here. So Morgan Stanley, it did. I'm glad I took some profit there towards 92. We are bouncing a little bit there at 92. We'll see what happens. SFM Sprouts. Can we get another move towards 34 here? We'll find out what's going on in that one. Goldman Sachs, can we get some pullback? We're looking for some short opportunities out there. GPS, Gap, come back to 1190s here. We're going to take a look at some of those. Docu almost making it to the 6450s. I don't mind this one. What do you guys think about Docu? Looks interesting. Like one thing that I see here is like clearly you can see this kind of trend line right here, how you can't close up there. And a lot of times when we can't close up there, if we could come back towards the support around 50, we could crack that. But we'll see what happens here in DocuSign. It's an interesting one here towards the close. All right. Of course, I can take a look at the SPY, just bouncing back to 392s. We can take a look at some oil names like XOM. That's getting a little bit of a bounce here towards the end of the day. And just to take a look, what were some big movers as of late? I'm going to take a look here. Unity. Oh, how did Lunar close? I know this stock was ripping here. This cheaper name. Definitely going to stay away from it. But, man, this stock was ripping. It didn't break down either. That's crazy that this stock is able to hang on here. Will Docu beat? That's a hard one, right? Jeff, I'm thinking about it. I want to short it, but you know how that is. Wanna, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Since I'm not taking it right now, I'm probably just going to hold on to my Morgan Stanley. But it looks interesting for me. I just hate shorting into earnings. You know what you get left? You get left like just waiting for it to hit the tape. And I really don't like for my trades to depend on if something's going to hit the tape or not. That's just very difficult. It's like I'm hoping, praying, and I don't like to hope and pray on my trades. Does this technically look good? Yeah, it does, but hey, that's just technicals, right? CRM, how's that one doing? Now that one's starting to cut right back down, and this one was looking good. Will it fill in the gap? Something to keep in mind. Meta. Is Meta giving us an opportunity here for another load on the short? I think it is. You can see here multiple highs into that 190 range, but we'd have to risk here into like kind of the 183s off of 190s. It's a big range to kind of risk there. We'll see what happens there in Meta. But if it could come back down into that gap zone, it could look pretty interesting, right? We'll see what happens on that one. You can see here the daily chart rejecting multiple times towards the 190s. Will it just come right back towards 170 and then cut towards 150? And just for that, I was looking at Pinterest, and you can see how Pinterest turned around. Snap. Looks like TikTok's not getting banned. Could be it, right? We'll see what happens. All right. I'm gonna probably start wrapping up here in just a few minutes as I get ready, of course, for the close. I want to at least maybe take a look to see if maybe I take a shot on some of these Toro. Given one last rip. Oof. I don't think this is gonna go too much far, but it is trying. It is trying here. You can see here. Let's give the rule of three, team. So you can see here, this is kind of trading better even on a 1 hour chart. I like the 1 hour chart for it, right? You know why? Because where's that 1 hour support? Right here. Boom. You just need to kind of recover around the 490s, get back up there towards the 6, and then look for the breakout towards the 7. Doesn't look too bad at all. Holding the pullback for a cheaper name. Can't blame you looking at the Toro. And you can see it is trying to make a move there. Remember, very low volume on this name. You got to be careful. I hate that hope and pray feeling. Yeah, I really do. Hammer, I try my best not to have trades where I'm hoping and praying for it. It can happen. Mitch, the dump is in today. No one is safe, says Tony. No one's safe. Well, let's hopefully we have some shorts on to make some profits, right? There's always two ways to play this game, right? We'll find out what happens. But Morgan Stanley paying me so well on the day, team. Oh, I'm so glad I took that trade because it was a little bit hard to take the shot, but I took the shot, especially after we bounced back to the VWAP on Morgan Stanley. It gave me an awesome opportunity to take this one down. All right, we'll see what happens tonight. There's some stocks that can definitely continue to get hit. How did SoFi do on this? Definitely taking a beating also, pulling back there. This one could come right back down. I know a lot of people like SoFi for the long term, but it could be filling in this gap here towards 563s. That's going to be a closing towards 594s. We're almost closing that gap. If you're in a position to be hoping, just cut the trade, man. Yeah, I agree. Um, Hoping isn't going to give anybody a long-term success model. Let's just be honest. Yeah, binary outcomes, no fun. You have confidence, and then you're a gambler. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I mean, and it's going to happen. Look at this SEDG, guys. You don't think I was fighting myself on this one today? It started off perfect. We were looking for a move above 330s. I was in this one from 323. I was already 7 points up on the name when we were up here. I wanted to hold solar today, but when it came back, I said, you know what? This market's just not looking the same. I'm not feeling it the same. It's looking like it could really break down. So I got out of SEDG. Of course, I can look to get back in the name if I want to, but getting out break even is going to be a lot better for me than just battling the chart. And the next thing you know, I get through my risk out. All right, that's going to do it for these kind of looks today. We'll see what happens. I would definitely be careful on stocks that are in the auto manufacturing area. Ford coming down fast. If Tesla's going to come down fast, I could see Ford coming down fast. I could see GM coming down fast. I could see lithium names coming down fast. That's when I look for lithium names to pull back. A lot of the times it's after I started to see the cut down on Tesla coming back down. Be careful with those auto manufacturers. You could see them taking a big hit right back down. Run was one that we were looking at this morning. It was really strong out the gates. I was like, yeah, solar, baby. And then look at that. Just running away here. So be careful there, team. We could start seeing the turnaround in some of these solar names, even like a strong one like First Solar. Look at this topping action here. This actually looks interesting to play off of. This is a 215, 22, 212 levels. I'm actually going to play this today, team. I'm going to play a short here on First Solar. We got to go with a smaller amount because this is a more expensive name. So let me just calculate in here how much I really want to do this. All right, so we're going to get a starter here off the bid. All right, there you go. 212.18s. Let's go. We'll see what happens there on First Solar. Just getting a small little piece here to start it. Tomorrow I can add on this, but I'm not going to let it go past 215.22s. So into like the 213s, 214s, I don't mind adding, but we're going to look to see if First Solar starts to break down after it tried to get back up there above the 215s multiple times, failed on the drive today. We'll find out on First Solar. All right, that's going to do it for me. Taking a swing right here into the close. I'll go ahead and I'll take a look at some stocks that you guys have, if anything else. If not, I'll start to wrap up the day. First Solar, going to be a fun one. We'll find out how it works out. And it's going to be a tough one, that's for sure. And it is getting a little bounce right now. So we'll watch it. If it gets a little bit closer towards 214, I can go ahead and add on it, and then we'll really have that swing on. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other names. Will the airlines continue to fall after that AAL looks like union strike? That's something I'm definitely going to be looking at. And if it does pull back, where will be an opportunity for me to grab AAL? I'm going to look for a pullback into the 14s. If it does pull back to 14, I'll look to try to get some airlines back down there. Walmart. Walmart, not bad. Walmart here starting to come down and breaking the 140s. Not something that I'm going to grab, but I think this could break down also. You can see how we've been trying to climb. You made your way back. It's not like you didn't, right? You closed this gap, and now you're starting to fall off. So just be careful there. That's why I'm a little bit concerned about Target. I think this could go lower. And for that case, what will happen to like a Costco and a BJ? BJ's has been really strong, but even today when it had good earnings, it's pulling back and closing back down here, at least from the open. Not what you want to see. ABUS, I'll take a look at that. Biotherapeutic stock in the $2 range. A lot of topping action towards 3. Let's go to the weeklies. I got to go to the monthly to kind of clean this up. You can see here, you pull back, you bounce off of this level here. So it looks like they're definitely 184 there is acting as support. Body close over here is very important. This is that spike time. I'd really pay attention to a move back above 383s. Last monthly low is 257. So if I worked here on the daily, definitely shouldn't be breaking the 257 range and should be holding right around here around the 260 range for support. You did get a move up, a pullback, a move up, a pullback, move up. Be careful for the pullback through 260, but if it can hold that, maybe you can break through 3. Not necessarily something that I'm looking at, but there's resistance at 3. That's for certain. Just needs to get through there. All right, that's going to do it for me. Did you see SIVB? Of course, man. Did you see SIVB? What a move in the banks, in the regional banks today. And yes, destruction coming in on the regional banks. We talked about this on, of course, pre-market prep. If you guys didn't catch pre-market prep this morning, I don't know what you guys are missing, but I definitely will tell you guys, check that out. It was a really good show. And I'll give you guys the link for that if you guys want to check it out a little bit later today. But I would definitely check out the show. It was a good one. That it was. Here's the link here. I'm going to throw it up in the link here at the bottom. You guys can go ahead and just click that link. It'll bring you right to pre-market prep and check out what we were talking about this morning. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. In a little bit, you guys will get sent over to Cannabis Insider. I'm going to keep watching FSLR to see if I can add a little bit to this one. Find out tomorrow how this one plays out. Short side. Still have Morgan Stanley, a little piece. I'm going to continue to work this one. And, of course, Sprouts Farmers Market. We were able to take some profits on ASO. Glad I took the profits and ran on some trades today. X coming back and stopping me out here for a slight gain. We'll look to see if this starts making its way back tomorrow through the 29s. Didn't want to stick around for that downturn through the 29s again. We'll see if it's able to bounce back tomorrow. And the last one, SEDG, I really like this one. It was looking good this morning, but stopped out just slightly underneath break even. Not a bad one there on Solar Edge. That's going to do it for me. Great show. Dennis was talking about extending maturities. Now we know why. Yeah. And it's going to be crazy. Kramer will come in and defend SIVB before they go bankrupt. You know it, G got you. Always, you need Dennis, right? Dennis Dick, guys. Check us out tomorrow morning. We'll be on pre-market prep talking about all the action, and I'm sure I'll be talking about a little bit about my Morgan Stanley trade. We'll see if it's closed the gap. We'll see if we continue to see the takedown on some of these regional banks. Be careful in some of those regional banks. They do have very low volume, so the liquidity can be a concern. I'm just going to put that out there so that you guys always focus on your concerns, and especially when it comes to liquidity. We'll see you guys, like always. Hit the thumbs up. I hope you guys appreciate everything that Benzinga does right here, and definitely let everybody know this is where you want to be. Benzinga does it right. Pre-market prep, live trading, and of course, start swing trading. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Let's go, team.